Hello everybody, and welcome back. It is Wednesday, which means we're going to talk about real estate. We're going to get back to Homebuyer 101, and we're going to talk about the home buying process. So I hope the music is not too loud. I hope the lighting is okay. A little crooked. I feel like the camera's crooked. Is that crooked? Am I crooked now? I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to start from the very beginning. So you've decided, you've thought about thinking about buying a home. Whether you're renting, whether you're in a home that you've purchased already and you're working on building equity and you're trying to decide, is it time for me to sell? Is it time for me to maybe rent this out and move on to the next one? What am I going to do? So you've made the decision, I'm ready to buy. What do we do next? Well, if you're selling a home, how much equity do you have in your home? What does your payoff look like? So what are you moving forward with? Have you been in the house a year? Have you been in this house 20 years? Because it could drastically change what you qualify for. You may be able to purchase a home in cash if you've been in the home for a very long time. If you, obviously depending on the size of the home you're going for, and let's just say every situation is different, but that does happen quite a bit. Or let's say that you've just been in the home a couple years, you've built up a pretty good amount of equity over the last few years, and you're ready to upgrade. So you want to sell your house. Let's say you've never bought anything and you're renting and you have no idea where to start. So this is where we're going to start for everybody. Evaluate your finances. If you have never purchased a home before, let's get you in contact with some lenders. If you're already in your home and you know you're going to need financing of some sort, if you're not going to be able to buy with cash outright, let's get you in contact with a couple of lenders. Now, first-time home buyers. There are options for first-time home buyer assistance programs. There are grant options. There are down payment assistance programs. Not all for first-time home buyers, but there are additional programs for first-time buyers. You do qualify as a first-time buyer if you've not purchased or sold a home in over 3 years. So if you bought a home before and you've been renting for the last 3 or 4 years, you would technically be a first-time home buyer again. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to check out our finances. Do we have enough to cover closing costs and down payment? Do we have enough to cover the things that you're going to be paying for throughout the process? There are other things in addition to your payment, or in addition to the closing costs and down payment. You're going to pay for an inspection. I hope. You don't have to, but you should. If you're going to be paying for an inspection, you may also be having not independent contractors. You may be having other contractors come out, electricians, plumbers, roofers, foundation teams, a whole array, sprinkler teams, security teams, whatever it may be, to verify the systems and the home and its efficiency. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our finances. Awesome. Everything looks great. We've checked that off. We're going to get our pre-approval, not a pre-qualification. Write it down, a pre-approval, not a pre-qualification. One more time, a pre-approval, not a pre-qualification. You're going to get your pre-approval, not your pre-qualification, from your lender. And you're going to reach out to us. You can reach out to us, obviously, before then. Let's start talking as soon as you get the inkling that you're ready to buy a house. But you've got your pre-approval, not your pre-qualification. You've reached out to your team. Now, what you should be doing, interviewing lenders, discussing with them what your goals are. If this is going to be a primary residence, is this an investment property? What is our goal for this home? We're going to talk to our lender. We're going to get our pre-approval. We're going to talk to our real estate team. We're going to hire our real estate team so that we have a fiduciary. Sometimes people will call up a friend of theirs that is an agent and say, hey, I really like this house. Let's go look at it. And because they're good friends, the agent will say, absolutely, let's go. Meet you out there this day, this time, no problem. The problem with that is you walk into that home and you are not represented. Everything you say has to go back to the seller. They represent the seller at that point. So just because she is your best friend and y'all have known each other since elementary school and y'all hang out every Thursday and every Friday and y'all go get drinks together and have mom dates, whatever the case may be, she is not your fiduciary and you are not represented, they do have to take that information back to the seller because they do technically represent the seller at that point. So hire your agent, have your fiduciary, make sure you have somebody on your side that is helping you make decisions that are in your best interest. Because the wonderful thing about an agent is we have no skin in the game. We don't have the emotional strings or ties. So a great thing for y'all is that we are an emotionless third party. So when it comes time to make decisions, we're really good at helping you weigh out the strategic and the logical decision of it. And then you weigh it out with what you feel and what you know, and you make your decision. but you want to make sure that you have your fiduciary lined up. You want to have somebody who is there to help you make the decisions, who is navigating this market on a daily basis and knows what the market looks like, because this market is not the same market that we were in 6 months ago. This market is not the same market that we were in 6 weeks ago or 2 years ago. So you have your pre-approval, not your pre-qualification. You have hired your real estate team. Now, when you're talking with your realtor, we're going to start there and we're going to talk about what you're looking for. Are we going, do we want completely new construction? We want fresh walking in? Are we okay with a little updates? Are we okay with maybe replacing floors, painting, little things like that? Maybe not exactly brand new, but move-in ready. Or are we okay with something that's a fixer-upper? Some people love it. I've got DIYers that are ready for a challenge. And as long as your lender says we will approve and finance and this is an insurable property, then you are good to go. So there are some people that do want to move in and fix up the house. Some people do not. So we'll weigh out what is important and what is a deal breaker. Some deal breakers for people, maybe school districts, taxes, whether or not there's a MUD or a PID, if there's an HOA or not. That's a big conversation for a lot of people. You either love them or you hate them. There's usually not middle ground on HOA, and it's okay to feel either way. Just saying. So we have narrowed down the search based on not only what you want, but also what is important in regard to finances, taxes, school districts, MUDs, PIDs, HOAs. We start going out and looking at the homes. This is everybody's favorite part. We're looking at houses. We're looking at how beautiful they are. Everything looks great. I hate the color scheme, hate those cabinets, love the paint, whatever that may be. Super fun. But we need to be looking at some very important things. We need to be looking at the bones. You know, when was this house built? Is there a risk of lead-based paint? If it's built before 1978, they're going to have to disclose that. There may not be any lead-based paint in the home, or it may have been covered up since then, and it may not be an issue, but we need to think about the things that you need to, and usually that's not even really a concern for people, but for some people it is. Maybe whether or not there's been foundation work on the home. If the home was built in 1935, 1950, and there's never been foundation work, it may need to be looked at. I'd recommend it. I'm not an inspector, but I'd say if a house is that old, it may need to be looked at. If it's had recent foundation work, we want to make sure that they've done testing. So there's lots of stuff that you want to look for. Now, obviously, when you're in a showing, you're not going to know all of this stuff. Your agent should be doing research. We're going to be looking into all this stuff. We're going to be looking at comps. We're going to be looking into the background of the home. So take it all in, look around. Now we start to sit down and we've decided, do we like this house or do we not like it? Can we go to sleep tonight, and if it's gone tomorrow, be okay, or do we need to write an offer right now? We've made that decision. Okay, we're going to write an offer. Now, as we're writing our offer, here's where the important things come into play. The things we were discussing in that original orientation and consultation with you when you hired your team. We're going to talk about sales price, so we're going to be looking at comps in the neighborhood. We're going to be talking about earnest and option money. How much are you going to put down in earnest? How much are you going to put down in option? How long of an option period are you asking for? Who is paying for title and survey? Is there already a survey on the property? How old is the survey? Did the survey look like the property that we were on, or does it look like they've added a patio or a pool or a pergola? So, things we need to be thinking about. Are we asking for any seller concessions? Are we asking for home warranty programs? Are we accepting the home as is? So there's a lot of questions that we'll go into as we're writing this contract. It's a long contract. It's going to take us a little bit to go through all the details. We're going to make sure that we put together an offer that is strategic, that you're comfortable with, and that most importantly is something financially feasible, not just that you can afford, but you want to afford. Because some people, depending on your income, your credit scores, all of that, you may go into your lender and be pre-approved for a much higher amount than you want, because you don't necessarily want to spend that much of your income on a mortgage. So we want to make sure that it matches into all of the boxes. Now we've written our offer, we send that out. Congratulations, we go under contract. So we're under contract, what do we do? First things first, our option period clock starts ticking that very next day. So what do we need to do? I suggest, it is not a rule, but it is a suggestion to have inspections done as quickly as possible. Because if that inspection cannot be done that same day or next day, you may be running out of time to have additional contractors out. If they come out and they see some red flags with the electrical, plumbing, maybe the foundation, maybe the sprinkler systems, whatever they find red flags on, and you want to have a secondary opinion, and you want to have a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber, a roofer, a foundation team. You want to do all of this during your option period as quickly as you can in the beginning. Because what we're going to do is then, if you want repairs, we'll negotiate that. Awesome. We've negotiated repairs, and I'm trying to be quick because there's a lot that goes into this process, so I'm trying not to go too fast, but I also don't want to go too much into it because it's a lot of information. So if you have more questions, please let me know and I'll slow down. So you've gone under contract, you're through your option period, you've had your inspections, you decide you're going to move forward on this home. Well, if you are getting financing, there's going to be an appraisal done on that home. And the appraisal is their opinion value of the property. So if this house, easy math, let's say is listed at $300,000 and you offer $310,000 or $305,000, the appraisal is going to determine what your bank finances. So if the appraisal comes in at 310, wonderful. If it comes in higher, amazing, you're moving in with equity. If it comes in lower than what you have offered, somebody has to come up with that differential. And we'll talk about addendums another day because that's something you write into the contract. So we get past that, appraisal is ordered. If we need to, I'm sorry guys, my phone's ringing. I don't know, can y'all hear me? Okay, cool. We're gonna keep going. So appraisal is ordered. While they're working through that, we should also be getting back our title commitment. Title commitment usually comes back very quickly. This is gonna tell you everything you need to know about the property. Are there mineral rights? Are there liens on the property? Is the property owner a foreign investor? It basically anything you can think of that you need to know about this property. Any unpaid taxes, anything that could change your commitment to the property. So you get your title commitment, you go through that. You go through Schedule A, B, C, make sure that everything looks the way that it needs to. If we have questions, we go to title, make sure we get clarification on how anything could affect you as a homeowner once you purchase the home. Now we've got our title commitment. The appraisal has already been ordered. If the survey that was already with the property, if it had one, was accepted, perfect. We'll have the T47 notarized by the seller. They'll confirm nothing has changed. If it's accepted, wonderful. If it is rejected by title because something has changed, then a new survey needs to be ordered and somebody needs to come out and survey the property. So that's all going on in the back end while we're under contract. Now, while all of that is going on with the title office, your lender is working on the other side. And what they're doing is they're putting you through underwriting. They've ordered your appraisal. They have put you through the underwriting process. They have made sure that you're qualified again. They're going to check everything all over again. Once we're under contract, they're going to just double check, cross their I's, dot their T's, everything. We're going to keep moving forward. And then when the appraisal comes in, they'll tell us where the value is at. And then, I apologize, the music threw me off there and I had a little brain bubble. So, oh, it's a commercial. I was like, that is the weirdest song ever. So your appraisals come in, they tell us where the value is. So everything is great. Repairs are being done. We're getting invoices and receipts and verification for all of our repairs. Everything is moving forward. Now we're getting closer to closing. And now what we need to do is we need to start scheduling our utilities. We need to start, we need to make sure our insurance is set up. So we have our homeowner's insurance. If there's some sort of temporary lease on the property, whether the sellers are temporarily leasing it or you are temporarily leasing it, there needs to be renter's insurance in that period as well for whichever party is the tenant. And then we get to start starting the closing process. They'll start balancing numbers once we get our clear to close from your lender, which basically means everything is done. Underwriting is done, the house is cleared, it's insurable, the loan is ready to go. All we need to do is close. So, now that we're there, everybody has done what they need to do. We've checked all of our boxes. These songs are crazy, y'all. These commercials are not good. I guess these are just the commercials they have nowadays on Spotify. So we start scheduling our closing. They start balancing numbers and you start getting closing statements. Now this is going to tell you what you need to bring to closing because you've paid earnest, you've paid option, that money has been applied to your closing cost. If you have any down payment assistance, it'll also appear on there. Any credits from the seller, anything like that. If you've asked for cash in lieu of repairs. Now if you've asked for repairs, even if you haven't asked for repairs, we're going to go out. the morning of or the day before your closing, and we're going to walk through the property. We should have invoices and receipts. Let me rephrase that. We will have invoices and receipts because we don't want to close unless we have proof of the repairs that we asked for. They agreed to it. We want the proof. So we're going to walk through the property. Now, this is going to be a little bit less stressful, I guess, than the showing, because in the showing you're looking for as many things as possible that are wrong. Right now you're going in, the house should look as you expect it to. Are the repairs that I asked for done? I will print out a sheet of the repairs that you asked for and the invoices that they gave me, and we're going to walk around the house and we're going to look for them. We're just going to walk through, make sure everything looks like it did last time we were here, make sure the house looks like it's supposed to before we close. Nothing crazy's happened. And then we will go ahead and move forward. Once we have closing scheduled, we'll meet at the closing at the title office, or escrow officer will meet you there. Sometimes your lender will come, sometimes they won't, just depending on their availability. Our team will always be there. We will always be there with you when you close. But that's it. Once we close, you're going to sign a huge stack of paperwork. Unless you're a cash buyer, it's going to be real super quick. I was in a cash closing earlier at one point, and we were in there like 15-20 minutes. And now I've also been in there where we have down payment assistance, and we're in there for an hour and a half because there's a stack of paperwork this thick. You've got paperwork for your down payment assistance. You've got paperwork for your loan. So it can take a little bit of time. Be prepared. We'll get little pictures of y'all taking pictures, signing and everything like that, so you've got some memories. Now, once we sign and you've paid your closing costs, whatever that may be, if it's over a certain amount, they'll probably have you do wire, cashier's check. Typically, they don't do personal check unless it's a smaller amount that's due at the closing table. So we'll have all of that taken care of, and then what they'll do from there is you have signed, now the seller has signed, and we will fund. We wait for the really exciting call that says we have funded. And essentially what funding means is that all of the funds have been dispersed, the seller has received their money from the transaction, and now I get to bring you your keys. So that's honestly, that waiting period I feel like is the longest for everybody. Everybody's just waiting to get a call from title that says we've closed, we've funded, everybody is ready to go. Now you've moved in, you've gotten your keys, change your locks, change your security codes, change your passwords, your Wi-Fi passwords, everything. If it's a smart home, change everything. If there were any apps that the seller provided you passwords to when you moved in, change the passwords. We are in a new world of technology, and hackers are super smart, so change everything. And I mean, aside from hackers, you just don't want anybody else having that information. Once it's your home, you need to be the only one with that information, you and the people that you trust. So be sure you do that when you move in. Garage codes, passwords, door codes if you have the electronic door codes, because some do. That's it. I think we got through everything, guys. That was our start to finish. If y'all have questions, y'all want more detail on anything, please let me know. We will be back next month because it is the 31st and it is officially fall. I don't care what anybody says about September 22nd. Summer's over. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.